So, just a brief presentation on this.
Yeah, I guess if you can start maybe with like a Google Earth and photographs of the house and the
Sure.
neighbors,
Sure.
and then we can look at the plans and see what you're doing.
This is the existing house, 4 different elevations. Starting with the, the street view from the front, the proposed addition, of course, doesn't impact the front elevation. I just collected some of the street views of adjacent houses. Most of them are not easily visible from the street, but so
And this is a return, when was the last one?
10/16 of last year?
Did we approve it? We approved it then?
It was approved then, but they've downscaled the project.
the owner changed downscaled the project because of the cost of what had been approved. So, what we have is a really basic addition that's been greatly simplified. So it just comes off the back of the house, comes back 22 feet, it's 17 feet wide. Just a simple roof line, and the size of it is really, it's actually dictated by a couple of things. There's existing sliding glass doors out to the back, and so the intent was to still keep that access from this part of the house out to the back, and then just have the addition come over from there. So this actually works a lot in a much simpler fashion than the other proposed addition did. The roof line is slightly flatter than the existing roof lines throughout the house. And that's really was determined by trying to maintain the ridge line to be below the existing bedroom windows at the second floor. So this ends up being, I think we could say like a 3-on-12 roof. Would have liked to get a little more slope, but it really started to become problematic to interfere with the windows, the existing window into the bedroom. So that really is what determines the slope there. And then the proposed addition, in terms of the siding and the materials would be identical to what's on the existing house, so it'd be like a painted cedar shake siding and same, shingle roof.
Go ahead.
Is the small size of these windows dictated by the internal use on this facade here, or something?
When we were last here, they actually didn't even want any windows facing that side, for whatever reason. I guess I would really say that the backyard, focus of backyard activity is all here. The ground starts to slope up here, so it's really just wood sloping up to the adjacent property. The board
We look it up with them.
Oh, is that, yeah, but the board requested that there be windows, I certainly agree with that, the client originally didn't want
So
that.
this must be what
So-
we approved last time.
Correct. Right.
Is there a reason you're changing from 4 to 2 spread out?
I would have to say I would prefer that grouping, but
We probably would too.
again, a lot of this, the downsizing of this, the further simplification of this was just really costing by when they had it priced out.
I have one question. If you mean it, you've drawn this with muttons, but I don't see muttons on any windows in the entire house.
That's true. if that's, you know, problematic, that
I feel like
was,
there might be a couple, maybe on
Yeah.
is that
I don't know, are there some in the
On
front?
the
you are.
second
There you
story
go.
maybe,
Right.
but like, it's a mixed up, it's a mixed bag of stuff.
It looks like just these two, right? There's a middle one there. So is that intentional, you want to, you trying to put
I mean, it
light up?
was intentional, yes.
Okay.
So what's happening in the corner here? Like there and there,
Yeah, I mean, that's, it's, you know, it's a bit of an awkward building condition, I mean,
Yeah.
what's shown there actually is just a tank that's getting removed, so, it was, again, the size of this was dictated by wanting to maintain within the existing sliding glass door opening, maintain, you know, glass door, and access to the outside. And this just became too narrow, so it was just widened to this. I know it looks awkward on plan, I think it's a little less awkward, you know, in terms of the elevation. And it's also, the intent was to not encroach on these existing windows back here. Which is an improvement from last time, because the last time those windows were actually, going away because of the size of the, you know, that addition. So so really it's just to get something that's a little more sizable, and yet not go beyond and start encroaching on those existing windows.
so does that, so it misses the roof edge, I don't know if it's better or not.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it comes below it, I think when we get in the field,
And there's a way of making it even flatter and just having
you know,
it
this is,
continuous?
oh, I'm sorry, this is gonna come, hit there, there's probably a little bit of, a little bit of a cricket, you know, at some point there that'll kind of be field determined, I don't think it's gonna be more than even what we show here. So it pretty much as that roof slopes down, it just hits against there.
But there was no way of actually, it would have to be a little bit shallower. To
You know,
so
oh,
that
you mean
can
a
continuous
shallower roof
ridge,
slope?
yes.
Yeah,
So that you can
I
have a
really hate to get
continuous-
down below 3 on 12, I mean, you could get to 2.5 on 12, but
Yeah.
that just starts to get so flat. So it was really, it's really kind of, all those things kind of conspiring to end up with that little bit of a.
No, but actually, it's true, if you ended up connecting from that elevation up to here, it certainly wouldn't be flat from a range standpoint or anything else. And
And it wouldn't
It
be
wouldn't
that
be.
tooth.
Right.
you got plenty of slope for water, it's not flat at all. You know,
If you go from where to where?
if you lined it up with this ridge line and this gutter system and everything else and connected to this point, it flattens it a little bit, but it's nowhere near a flat roof.
I mean, I know it's not a flat roof, I think we're just trying to maintain a slope that just didn't get, you know, too flat. I mean,
For what purpose?
well, just for using a
Aesthetic?
shingle roof and for, you know, not getting, you know, we didn't wanna build a flat roof. I mean, a shingle roof, I mean, when you start getting down to 3 on 12 or, I mean, you can go 3 on 12 and you can maybe go a little less than that, but that just starts to get so flat and so,
It would do a lot to make it look less like,
Yeah,
oh, that's
I think you'd
that's an
know-
extension in the backyard versus it was part of the house.
I think you'd notice the flatter roof less than you would that slight misalignment.
You know, the way it is now, it's always gonna look like somebody just, you know, stuck this on the back of the house.
Unless there's some
I don't,
other,
if you're saying pull this up and line it and then go to there,
Correct.
yeah, I don't know what that calculation is, I mean, I'd have to calculate it, I wouldn't just, it's pretty flat though.
yeah, I think the other way to make it feel more intentional is if you're aligning with something else that's there.
Possibility of lowering the existing gutter line, extending it so that they meet the proposed.
Well, that would be more expensive and be a project, I think, that would be fine with us aesthetically, but I think that would be more complicated.
You know, maybe this, you know, maybe the soffit overhang here, which roughly is similar to what is elsewhere in the house. I mean, maybe that's held tighter to the face of the house. I mean, it looks, you know, if it was held here, I mean, because it extends out and starts to, you know, starts to come up close to the trim around that existing window. I mean, visually, you know, I guess it's a little bit accentuated, if this is maybe pulled back and so that there's really airspace between the face of that and the trim of the window, might look, I think it'll look less, you know, arbitrary.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm really arguing for a roof that sheds water and it's not gonna create problems later, you know, in a flat condition. Because I obviously would like to have a much steeper slope, but, you know, we're really bound by, if we encroach on these windows up here, then they're taking out windows and have to create a new, window situation for a bedroom up there. So it's really, I mean, that's probably the greatest determinant right there, is just staying below those windows with the ridge line. But I mean, visualizing this, I mean, maybe this comes and really is held tight there, so it doesn't look like it's bumping up so much against the window trim.
Yeah, I think whatever you can do to make it feel intentional, like it's not just missing the other roof
Right.
line, it's not just missing the window.
You don't have this problem here, you see.
Right.
I mean, on the other side.
That's good,
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, yeah, cause it's just, you know, yeah, it's just hitting the flat side of the house there.
But I mean,
When it's the same height of the garage, it's like it's not hitting the garage gutter line.
Right,
It's at the
right,
same
but you
level.
can see that it actually, yeah, I mean, it kind of is, I don't know if it's
Yeah,
exact, but it's
because
pretty
it
close,
doesn't
but.
look
Right,
across.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
but when you're from
It's
looking
only
at
on the
that
drawing,
profile,
but
you
see
they
it.
look,
On the other hand, the other one is just butting against
I mean,
it.
it's always gonna look like they added something to the back of the
It's-
house unless you can get something to tie in. And it's always nice if it's more organic and it's kinda growing out of the
There
back.
can be some sort of transition, I don't know, between these.
But, you know, I mean, if this is, you know, if we really stopped it here, you know, and maybe it doesn't seem like much, but I think that little bit right there and how it's bumping up against the window visually is, you know, I mean, the drawing seems to accentuate that, and if that's pulled back, and this is a very tight fascia there and just hits the side of the house, you know, sure, it's gonna be slightly below the other one, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Can you have I'm not sure if this would be the right solution or not, because especially because you don't have so many windows on that side, but if you did a single slope roof, so you can, you know, the two sides don't have to align. You'd stay below the window and then you can hit the roof line on one side and keep it where you are on the other.
Are you proposing a shed roof, is that what you?
Yeah, I don't know,
no, yeah, I think you're proposing a roof that has one pitch on one side and one on the other, right?
I think, yeah. I mean, that would
Yeah,
have.
we're just trying to see if there's a way to kind of
Right, no, I understand,
fit it into the house as opposed to paste it on.
right, I understand.
You know, if you're in that corner looking at these two sides, what's that gonna look like? And
Can you just lower the whole roof line and just have shorter walls on the outside? Is that a possibility? You've got 8-foot walls now, I'm presuming, can you go the outside, go 7-6 and possibly confuse over the inside of the room?
maybe,
This one too. Could have been a bigger overhang.
Is that the,
And this is
That's the
like
old?
stacked out.
that's the older one.
This is the older one?
next time, or do we?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can there are options to explore.
Okay, yeah, that won't work.
So can we ask you to, maybe take a look at a couple options, maybe look at what the pitch really would be? We're not asking you to do a flat roof, nobody wants to see water pond, but maybe it's not as flat as you think, or maybe there's some other ideas to, just again, make it look more like it fits into the house.
Okay, I mean, the thought of just, tightening up on that, we'd love to be able to get, you know, yeah, I guess I would love to be able to just, get a resolution, so you don't think that tight, pulling in the soffit and really tightening up at that corner, even if it's below that existing soffit there, that existing fascia there, is sufficient to address
I think we
the
need to see
concerns.
the detail of how it resolves itself into cause I mean, that may work, but it's kind of hard to say without.
Maybe you can do a little drawing of that corner so we can understand it, but you can also understand how that's gonna fit back together.
Seem to have a larger overhang here. If they could increase the overhang, they could probably bring it down and tie it in.
Yes, that would be, but then again, I don't know if that's something that the client would like to consider.
So I missed that, what was that?
Just to
Comment?
extend the overhang on the
The
existing
existing.
one,
Mhm.
you know. That's something that I think
Yeah, well, it's not that long of a section. I mean, it's, could extend it that amount.
Like 8 feet, not 10 feet.
I don't know that we're gonna
Oh,
resolve
yeah,
it,
the
but
window is right,
Or
You'd be flat
maybe-
to the window, yeah.
yeah, the window is right there. I mean, this is tight.
Yeah, you'd have that common line, like,
Or even if you didn't extend the roof overhang, but box down, drop the soffit down, so it was maybe
Right,
a
right,
deeper,
having
a
like a
deeper
fascia.
fascia where the soffit of this, so then the soffit of the proposed addition aligned with the
I
soffit
think
of
so,
that.
that would be good, no?
Right.
If he was just extending, instead of doing the fascia, so that it aligns with the bottom of this overhang. So basically boxed in, this would be less work for them, and they will plan into this on both sides, of course.
Right.
Basically,
Would
yeah,
you even
like-
notice it on the other side?
I would do it on both sides, so that it's all like.
yeah, profile
there
looks
you go.
odd. This, I don't think you're ever gonna
This-
realize
yeah,
this, no
you
one's ever
can't,
gonna see that.
Because that's
Right.
that's too far, but here it just
Oh,
abuts
yeah.
into this.
See there and there.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think this is what we're talking about, just dropping, box, maybe this gets pulled back a little bit, but boxing,
Right.
dropping down the fascia of this soffit here, so that
These two in relationship to each
this,
other, remember?
cause we have room there, that could come down really to, you could box that down to the head of the window trim, and then get that really to, set that to align with that. And
Yeah,
that's
just to
what
get
we're
that
talking about.
connection to
Yeah.
Just
to
having
me,
a
yeah.
longer fascia boxed
Right,
in
right.
on both sides symmetrically.
Right. That has to happen on the front?
No, these sides, we're talking about this, we're talking about the
Yeah,
existing, yes?
the two sides of the gable.
Right. You're saying, I mean, do it
This
here,
and
you're
yes,
saying do it here?
yes, symmetrically, yes.
Well, okay, but, no,
I mean, if you look at
he's
the-
just doing
I mean,
here.
I
You're
think,
talking
I
about
feel
doing
like if
this-
you look at the picture there, that's something that is not, no one is really gonna
It's-
take into in its
It's already
entirety.
not symmetrical
Mm-hmm.
at the garage.
Oh,
So you could probably just do it on one side. I mean, that sticks out farther than that does.
But I think,
it's not drawn, all of it's drawn.
So are you talking about adjusting this, or are you talking about adjusting this, or both?
Oh, I thought it
Well,
was just
well,
this,
it's really taking this existing roof,
Bring it
overhang
down,
and
line up.
boxing it down, so it's not extending the roof further down, but it's extending the fascia down and getting it,
This is a different part of the
and
this one
and
is
getting it to
this.
align with the bottom of the fascia of the addition.
Yes, this. And these are
Okay, and then where this hits it in the corner, what
Right.
does that look like?
Right, so then this'll be hitting this deeper fascia, but the
At the bottom
soffits, the
it'll
soffits will align, so you'll have the addition coming around and now will align with the fascia, the dropped, the extended, the deeper fascia of the existing part of the house. So I mean, it'll come in and it won't, concern was it's just hitting there and it's not relating to anything, so now it'll come in and that soffit, the new soffit will align with this soffit of the existing house.
At the bottom,
At the
okay,
bottom,
yeah,
at
it's
the
at the
bottom,
bottom, yeah.
right.
and then one will go higher
But I
than
would
the other.
still do it on the both sides. I know, I think it's, even though there is something already not symmetrical here,
Both,
this is a precedent that should not
but
be
both
repeated.
sides of what? He's changing this,
Right.
so there's
Here and
nothing to
here.
change here.
No, here and here.
Bringing down just this corner?
No, so
confused.
he is,
Put the box soffit
he's
on the front,
boxing it
too.
on
Yeah,
this
it's gonna-
side, I
Right.
would say,
The
so
front's
it's
gonna
this
look weird.
side, and this other side should be also boxed in.
It's not really but, okay, so I just wanna toss out there again.
Boxing
I mean, it's not an elevation that, if you're standing, you have to be kind of like in the woods, standing on the slope to look down on it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it just as that.
Side.
I think
I
it's.
Then you can go right to the house and-
normally,
just
I mean,
as-
I understand your
Well,
point, I
but then
normally
you're-
would agree
then
that
you're
I feel like this is one of those times, like if this was on the garage side where you drive up and I mean, if it was
The
on.
garage is already not.
But I mean, if we were talking about this elevation, and you're driving up, I mean, that's an elevation that you're always facing, you're always confronting. And I feel like, if you did something on this side, you'd do it there, but on this elevation,
No, the top,
I'd be okay
Is this
with
the way that it
I just
always
think that
looks, or
if we are doing
Yeah,
all
I
this.
still could, if they're gonna go back to
or
the
was
drawing
there
board,
work
I'd
done,
work on
like
those
are there,
windows
is there
too.
there was
usually
removal
planting?
of some,
Wait, the two
there was
Yeah, I mean,
removal
there's like a
of
ton of-
some
Like 2 eyes pushed
rainwater
wide.
tank or something,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know
sure.
that those
Oh,
windows
so
are
they
really
may-
crazy
to
about
they
it.
may
the other
plant
one,
it
okay,
again
back to
and
the
you
other
wouldn't
one,
notice.
they're
Right,
trying to cut the
right,
budget.
yeah.
But I think.
Frankly, the percentage of
It's-
the
yeah, it can't
project
be that
is
much.
negligible,
Oh,
it's a couple $100 for a window, they're spending $60,000.
I don't think this is going to be so, I mean, I really would prefer to have it both sides, just because it's kind of weird to do it on one side, heavier on the others. If
I'd
you,
be,
if
I'd
you
be
go to,
indifferent, but what do you think?
I'm pretty indifferent.
Indifferent for that, on that,
yeah,
I mean, once you start messing with the front of the house, then we'll have to take a look at the
But this
front
is
of
the back.
front elevation.
this is the back,
This is the front though.
Right.
yeah.
I think we're.
But
all
when you
in
deepen it
favor.
on the front,
Oh.
I mean, I think that is a good point, if we do it on the other side, that's now the front of the house, so the house has all these fascias, and then that one there is gonna be,
I think as a group, we're okay with just
Okay.
doing it to the one
Okay.
side. But what about the
Then also
windows?
the other
Do we,
problem
are
is
we
that
comfortable
we
with this, or do we want what we approved last time?
I would prefer what was before.
I would,
grouping,
I would
the
too like the
grouping.
grouping and,
Or
look, we're not
bigger
looking to see any
windows.
resident spend a lot of money, everybody's on a
Right.
budget. But in the scope of this cost, it's,
It just.
and it may be a group of windows, it may be cheaper than buying individual single things. Last one looked like they were bundled together.
yeah. So, I think, I guess I don't have it in front of me, but it was a group of 4, I think.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
they
Yeah.
have it here,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I have it in the office,
But you could have it put here now, because I don't think it wants to go back, yes.
right.
So here's what we can do, because we have somebody behind.
Sure.
If you can, please step outside.
Right.
Neatly draw up the changes to the roof profile
Okay.
and maybe even identify, since it, just that we're trying to align.
Right.
And draw that in and do
Right.
it on 2 and initial it, and then come back after that applicant leaves, then we'll
Sure.
approve it tonight.
Okay. too.
Yep.
These are photos?
Thank you, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
It's true for them to know.
How you doing?
So you,
Should I pull anything out or you're getting it all? So this is a house on Old Line Road. It's technically the second house in from the corner on the east side, but the corner house is on King Street, so kind of first house on Old Line Road. Thank you. It's on the downhill side of Old Line Road, so the front of the house is at grade, still slightly below the street, but the grade falls away to the back, so the basement's fully exposed on the rear. They presently have a wood deck raised up one floor on the rear of the house off the kitchen, and they would like to replace that. It's in bad shape, so they want to replace that with a covered porch. And then underneath of that is an open, like concrete pad that they store stuff on, so decided to enclose the space underneath the new porch as a new one-car garage. So the proposal is the covered porch at the first floor level, and then at the basement level, an additional car parking space. So flip the page. So on the right side here is the basement level new garage. It's a shallow space, so it's really, it might be suitable for a Mini Cooper or something like that, but it still would serve. And so we're enclosing, that's roughly this existing concrete pad that we're gonna enclose in those walls, and then the open porch above. So the elevations there, that's the new garage bay. The new garage bay matches the existing. The two garage bays to the left there are the existing doors, and there's this kind of arched trim over those doors, and so we're replicating that same arched trim combination both over the new garage bay and then an opening to be able to walk around and underneath the porch, but around the side of this garage bay to get to, I forgot to mention, there's a new patio that we're gonna build in the back of the house. On the real elevation to the right there, there's an existing sliding door out to the exterior, but presently no finished space out there. So we're gonna create a patio there. Also building a set of stairs to go down from the porch down to grade.
what are you missing, is the front?
Yeah, I didn't draw the front elevation, there's no change in the front elevation. The porch will also have a gas fireplace on it. Actually, I have a couple of kind of a sample photos we've been using. This was one they initially had that showed the kind of floor. They wanted a tile floor with the fireplace set up, and then particularly the ceiling is gonna have this wood finish ceiling.
It's
similar
gonna
to that.
be a ceiling as opposed to like that.
Correct.
There's an interior, right?
No, so there won't be a flat ceiling, it'll be a pitch ceiling like the second photograph.
like
The
the
ceiling
second
will be like that.
So this is looking, is this
Through,
open at the top, it's looking through?
correct, and
Okay.
you're seeing the siding
Of the actual
Like
house,
this.
rear wall all the way through, right.
okay.
With skylights though?
Yes, skylights, I think we're doing 4 skylights in it. And then up against the house, we're gonna build a sort of a bar counter for some cabinetry there. So it's intended as an outdoor seating area, there won't be any, there's not a grill, there's no cooking to be done, it's just for outside seating and lounging, as it were. All the finishes and colors to match the existing, you see the colors on the house there. It's a sort of beige siding with white trim. So all of those elements will be repeated. So that's the simple part of the description. Anything
More
you
complicated one? or-
No. Yeah, we could talk about how complicated is it to do a tile floor on an exterior installation over a wood framing over a garage. We've probably spent half, that's a little exaggeration, but maybe half of our time trying to figure out the detail of how to construct that so that
Yeah, it's a
the,
tricky detail.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna use Schluter, Schluter product underneath the tile, but they want to use the wood look tile, which has no finished edge. So then we're into the detail of how to do a little metal band that's gonna wrap the whole thing to finish the edge of it, and that still has complications to it. So I could go into all of that if you want to get more gory stuff.
That's your scope.
Yeah, I'm already thinking it
No, I
through.
mean, this-
They make nice aluminum tile edges.
Aluminum tile.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Or brass.
Schluter actually makes a band that would wrap around.
Right.
Did we miss windows there?
Windows
Yeah.
and chimney.
Actually, the one thing,
Everything.
you're such a repeat customer, you should know that you need all four elevations,
Okay.
we'll waive it, but
Thank
you
you.
have to bring all four elevations and you have to render them all and put in chimneys
Yeah, I
and-
can't,
And the
you
windows
never
and the-
noticed we were missing that. I usually,
Yeah, I
yes,
think-
I will remember
But
doing
that's,
that.
I think the addition is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks very nice.
Thank you very much. By the way, since I slightly overheard your conversation on the prior project, the windows above the pitch roof, there was a window that's in the way, and so we split it into two separate shorter windows so that we could get a pitch of that roof that matches the existing, so.
This looks like a higher budget,
Higher than the other one.
What are
Although
you
they
doing
are,
that's the right
they
idea.
would probably say they're gonna wanna spend the same amount as the other one. Well, thank you.
What's the material for the railings and?
It's a metal railing, so metal posts with a metal handrail, sort of black color, right? Although those corner columns are all gonna be trimmed out with, AZEK trim. These
The
sort of
white to match
fat
the house.
white
So it's going to be
columns,
black and white,
black and white, right. You know it here, but just
and wood tile,
the
wood
wood
looking
looking
tile
tile, right,
on the floor.
on the floor,
So
right.
black wood.
Yeah, okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a nice night.
Thanks,
Alright.
Bill.
See you, talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Do you want hair mess or do you want the architect back in?
If he's ready, he can come in. It's like Rushmore in here.
That's a complicated detail.
For the flooring, I'm wondering if he's pitched the floor at all, because if it's a
It
flat
looks
floor.
like, it looked like it was pretty graded in the section. I mean, you can
with the screw- you know,
visibly see it.
It's tough to pitch a wood plank floor, but you can't bend the planks.
You basically have to design, figure that wire's gonna go through it and you gotta move the wire
Right.
out
So you're
from underneath
You're
that.
squeegeeing, you're vacuuming.
That's the best section.
I got the one done, actually, before finishing,
Or you can waterproof it.
just a question, I know we had 4 windows centered last time, so we're omitting these 2. I'm just thinking of it from the client's point of view, how they, were really just trying to cost cut. Could this be a grouping of 3 centered?
I don't remember what I went to before.
We had 4, it was 4
We had asked
last
for
time.
4, I think it might be nice to keep the same 4 we approved last time.
So, alright, well, I have this marked up here, is that, so it's omitting these 2 windows, new window grouping centered, and then extend existing fascia down to align with new soffit, so that gets aligned there, and then that's reflected over here also, that same note.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so,
You initial at each of the locations
Sure.
where you
do you initial and date that, or will you just initial it, or?
You could just initial it. I'm gonna stamp it.
I still have to mark up that other, can I just mark up
Sure,
that
I'll
other
call the
one?
other
and-
guy.
we'll do
And then I'll just drop it off back in here?
Sure.
Or-
Well,
You can come back in after, well, after the sign, you can come back in.
So,
Sorry.
Is that, oh, this isn't a real photo, did you guys say it's up already?
It's out there.
It's in place, yes, sir.
Is it in place?
It's in place.
Hello,
Okay,
Chris with the sign company, Star Signs.
okay, so it's already in place.
So this is already installed, you're
Yes,
asking?
yep,
Okay, that's,
It doesn't mean it has
So-
to stay, you still have
No, I
a voice to
Isaac,
issue.
PYZIK.
do you have any more information on the sign?
What do you need to know? I have a sample of
What's it
what
made
it's
of,
made
how
of.
thick it is, how is it illuminated?
This is a
What's the
sample
lettering
of the
made of?
material. This is it right here, it's just a digital print, right on aluminum, Durabond aluminum. And it's mounted just like the other one was, the one that said modern, low dry bar or something to that effect.
And the other one had pin letters, is that
Yep,
right?
the other one had pin letters, correct, yep, stainless steel. He came into the shop on a Friday and he said, this has gotta be up by Monday morning. And I said, well, certainly you have to get a permit, blah, 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 like we did the last time. And he said, we'll do that, but this has to be up by Monday, so I put it up for him on the weekend.
It's a
Is this
temporary,
temporary?
temporary
No,
sign?
this is the
No,
real
it's
thing,
permanent.
this is what he went with,
This is
yeah.
what he wants to do. We've never
So we took
approved
down the
things
pin
like
lettering
this.
and went with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we approve things like this.
You didn't allow the other gentleman with the pizza parlor to have aluminum sign.
Well, certainly no detail, no relief, nothing, just a
It's just a flat
just a
sign, yeah.
flat sign. Alright, so I think we
But the
want,
material's the same as the other one was, it's the same thing.
well, the texture and richness of the other one.
Well, the other one had the letters on top, yes,
Yeah,
correct,
and
yeah.
that makes a difference.
Yeah. So,
Just the colors.
so I don't think we're gonna approve this, I shouldn't speak for the group, it's a group thing. So what do we do for somebody?
There's a violation now, so the sign needs to be replaced.
Okay,
So you can come up with it then at the front.
so.
So what would you like to see, what do I tell them?
That this is inappropriate and we don't wanna design signs for the retailers in the community, but you can look at some of the signs that have been put up with some texture and detail and nice materials and thickness and relief and appropriate lighting.
Well, it's gooseneck lights up there, I believe,
That's fine,
yeah, it's not
Yeah, it's
illuminated.
that's fine.
You didn't change the lights that were
No,
existing.
no.
You can just barely see.
In fact, it's on
There's light bar.
it's mounted on a frame. It does stand off the wall a little bit, but it's in a recess or something, the sign box is like a recess in there, so, you know.
Some people do engraved letters, some people do relief letters,
So you're
there's lots
saying-
of different kinds.
Sure, there's a lot of options,
So
so it has to
we
be,
don't wanna
you
give-
want dimensional then.
Yes, we want something more appropriate.
Is it the same?
It's very cluttered too, I mean, I would have the owner think more about some spacing between like the top of these letters and it's just a lot crammed in there.
We have one of our members is a graphic designer and she's very good at this and I think she would have a lot of comments on the graphic and the way it's scrunched in there and
Yeah, maybe there's no need to do all this information, just the name of the business, that's all. That would make it a little bit less, provide more space in
Would you know what that is, if it didn't
modern
say styling
Hermes,
studio?
probably. just like the other one was.
I didn't know what hair mess meant, I mean, I know, I guess your hair's a mess, you go there
Well,
and they take care of it, I don't know,
well, that's
but-
the name of the business, yes,
Right.
that's how they must have thought about that.
But you probably should share with your client that we think that the lettering and the font and just the graphic appearance of it all is maybe wants to be rethought. There's a lot of stuff crunched in there, tight,
Window decal.
doesn't read very well, and I don't think anybody can tell what that logo is from a distance.
Yeah, it doesn't read that
Doesn't read
drawing.
well.
Does the actual one have the white border around the black border too?
No, it's black to
It's
the
fully
edge,
black.
yeah,
Okay.
It's like that, I guess, yeah.
yeah.
And is this the same proportions as the last one, or is
Yes.
this, okay?
Alright, so what about the color, is he okay with the color? If we did the lettering, modern hair mess in dimensional letters, and get rid of the girl's face, I guess, you don't like that, then we're good?
The font is nice.
Well, are you okay with the white and the black letters and the proportion of them and the way they fit?
Well, I think if he only has one, then that goes away, yes, that's what he was saying.
No, he was talking about taking the logo, are you talking about losing the styling studio words, is that what you're
Yeah,
suggesting?
that's what I was suggesting, but I don't know, or make it much
A
smaller.
little smaller,
Much
yeah.
smaller, so they compete right now, these two.
The title and the
And that
styling
little
studio?
description of what it is, yeah.
And if you're losing the logo, you have more real estate to play with in the sign.
Okay.
Maybe they can,
But
The font is okay, if we were to
Font is
get those
okay.
cut out of like acrylic or something, white acrylic, that'd be okay, dimensional letters?
yeah, I don't have an issue with the font, I do with the combination and the way it fits, I personally think
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't
it-
read very well.
this could be much smaller and maybe together and this.
The
this-
styling
Once you're going to
studio.
get rid of that logo, I think it's going to, you can make the proportions a little bit better. I mean, I'm not too crazy about the color, I don't know if we can comment on it. Can we comment on the color or no? 'Cause
You
it's a
can
little too
comment, I
much.
don't know that the orange?
Yeah, it's very,
What's the rest of the facade, just white, a little bit of brick?
Yeah, I mean, it sticks out,
it sticks out, I mean, the color is very different from the other ones, you know, the others are either navy blue or gray or.
Look at the context, it's always nice to look at the
Because-
immediate context of your facade with other
Mhm.
retailers and see if, everybody wants to get
That's
attention,
true.
obviously, but, you
Right,
know, is it
okay.
big, is it too loud for the neighborhood, or is there a way to, you know, is this his color, is this corporate company's colors? I mean, did he just pick orange
I think he
because
put this thing together in a day or two, I think,
It doesn't look like it fits.
it kind of looks, yeah,
Off place, it goes with the cones,
sorry, cones, right?
so far.
I think
Yeah,
that's an old
maybe if
picture,
there were a
right?
couple of
That's-
options, like, you know,
Yeah.
different gray background color, or the styling studio is orange, and the rest of it is more muted, or,
When you look in the glass storefront, is there any colors that are visible? I don't remember, you know, that
Right, it's
relationship.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Is there-
pretty vanilla in there, honestly, it's just.
But is it
uh,
going to be repainted or?
I don't know, I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it.
Well, because it's kind of out of the blue, this color, either on the facade or if there's some sort of rationale behind it.
Yeah, if all the chairs inside, that you sit in to get a haircut were orange,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
there'd be a logic to it.
So proportions, logo, proportions of that little styling studio.
Okay,
Yeah, we're looking for consistent, you know, reasonably
like-
high quality materials, you
And
know,
like Sarah said, maybe
the
do you have
newer
some
ones in the
options,
style.
you know, like to, and then we can,
okay, alright, we'll put something else together then.
So the next meeting is March 18th at 7:30.
You know, you can see the town has just finished a big streetscape upgrade, it looks very nice, and
Yep. Okay,
Can I have those back?
yes.
so just again about the orange, is that,
I guess we'd ask,
we're gonna go
you know, we'd ask
more of
him
a
to
muted
read,
background and then maybe do the orange instead of as the lettering perhaps?
well, I guess one question we have is why orange? Is there a practical business reason for it, or he just likes orange?
Okay.
You know, so, If he just picked it and there's not really a strong reason, then it might be nice to think of a different color. If it's important to the business, if all his business cards are orange, if something inside the space is orange, then
Okay.
maybe there's a logical reason for it.
Alright, in the meantime, he keeps his sign up?
Right now, yes,
Yeah, until
yes.
Okay.
And we're underway to come to a
Well, we're gonna take
resolution.
it down anyway to redo it, so,
We're not looking to cause him any undue loss of business with no sign,
gotcha,
but we're working towards a resolution now.
okay,
So in a timely manner, this can stay, there's usually a 30-day, reference time, and we're probably halfway into that now.
okay, and the next,
The next meeting, if we have a resolution and it's an agreeance, then, we'll approve a sign permit, and then shortly thereafter, that'll be changed.
Okay, so 3/18 is the next meeting, and when should I have the revisions in?
A week before.
Do I just email
So,
them?
yeah, you could just email them to me by the 11th.
Alright,
If you have any samples of materials or something to bring in when you come meet with us, that would be nice.
okay, yeah, I can bring some dimensional stuff, no problem. Alright,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks.
Did you need to see him again? Yeah?
Unless you guys wanna check it, it's okay.
Let him come in.
Otherwise it won't get done.
Okay. I guess you need to see both plans, or
Yeah, we'll just
you wanna
take
take
a
a look
look.
at those?
And we'll let you get out of here with an approval.
Sure. That's the first one. I did make a note that it was this.
You guys wanna take this still, wanna do the other? Okay,
Okay.
thank you for working with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, is there anything else I need to do, or is it just those, or?
I will be doing a review of the plans and send you a review letter for any other questions.
Sure.